She was out on the end of the bed and she was coughing in the morning. At the start it was only, just a normal cough, and as she started moving around more, she was coughing heaps. Then I sort of got her sputum cup, which she, uses, and it wasn't sputum, it was blood, just under half a cup of blood.
She had surgery to cement the part of her lung that was bleeding. The doctors were surprised with the amount of damage they found.
When she has bleeds, when I actually see it happening, it scares me. I don't know what to do.
And a lot of doctors, GPs, they'll say that you should listen to the mother because they're the ones who've been looking after the kid all those years. Some GPs will say, you know more than I do about CF. And when you get that, you go, oh, this is a good doctor. Because most doctors think they're high and mighty and they know more. And they don't. Especially about one thing like that. Like when you've been looking after your child all those years, you know what things she can have and what things she can't have, or what she's allergic to.
Even though Christy has fought against the odds with her sickness, she has never allowed this disease to dictate her. She has a lust for adventure and is drawn to anything that is exciting.
Well, she's beautiful, isn't she? She looks beautiful. And no one would think that she was sick. And she used to put on a bit good front. She likes the fact that, people can look at her and not think that she was sick.
Our family see Christy as a blessed person because she has lived a long life, considering the damage the disease has actually done to her body. But recently we were shocked to hear the news that Christy had yet another enemy.
I have parathyroidism, which is where you have overreactive glands. Apparently it's hereditary. However, no one in the family has it. The ultrasound yesterday, Monday, showed this one was larger, but the test today will just confirm that there is only one that isn't working, or one that is hyper working too much.
So it's off to the hospital for more tests, more needles, and more wondering about what's to come.
This will just circulate through the body.
Yeah.
And go to those parathyroid glands.
How you going? I had a really bad headache. Next killing me, my back's hurting.
I wonder what it's like for her, never truly knowing the outcome. Most people have their life mapped out, and even though Christy is just like most people when it comes to goals and dreams, each step that she takes is on a frozen lake that splinters with every bad move.
So you've been in there for half an hour. So what do you got to do now?
I've got to wait to have the next one done.
Oh, can't you go and eat anything?
Really claustrophobic. It was worse than an MRI.
But I really think it's negligent of the doctors. This is one thing that really is making me angry, and that is they knew about her parathyroid 6 months ago. He said it has to come out. They knew about her diabetes. The parathyroid, she's still seeing doctors, as you know. It's such a drag going up there all the time, spending the day there, for them to tell you, come back in 3 weeks. And we might have an appointment for you to have surgery. But this is a life and death situation. That thyroid has to come out.
I'm the pioneer of my generation because we're living longer than what CFs have ever lived. And I guess all these other issues are coming out along the way. So, yeah, it's a little frustrating and tiring.
It doesn't make sense with the diabetes because it's up and down all the time. That's why she needs some specialist to come in and guide us through it, because 1 minute it's down to 2 or 3
and next minute it's up to 9 or 10, which doesn't make sense for someone who has diabetes. And it's complicated because of the CF as well, and it's probably the thyroid that's doing it as well. So
9.1, that's why I'm tired.
it's gone up. My opinion is how she got the diabetes was when she was going through the IVF, and that made her sugar levels go up. And that's when I knew that it was from a diabetes that why she didn't get pregnant.
All I want to do in life is have a baby. And then I'll feel like my life is complete and that I've I put all these goals in place, and those goals were like buy a house, get married, settle down, have a career and have a family. Well, I bought a house, I've gotten married, it's the love of my life. Still no baby.
How many miscarriages has Christy had?
Preconceptions and miscarriages altogether, I think there's about 6 to 8 in the last 3 years, I think it is.
I lost the baby and I hadn't lost it completely, and a week later I had an allergic reaction.
Yeah.
And I was in the middle of losing the baby at the same time. You know what I've never been able to grasp, but how is it that, why would God give me a baby and then take it away?
Like a jam-filled Lamington, when she is sick, you can see it. The disease oozes out like jam and she can no longer hide it.
They had a new medication that was on the market that they trialled over in the UK. It seemed to work with those CFs over there. So they trialled it here.
I was having that through IV and I'd had 2 weeks of it, and unbeknown to them, my body was storing it.
I had said to them that she was allergic to this drug that they put her on. But they put her on it anyway for 2 days, and she started getting the rash and the itchies. I stopped it. Like I said, no, you're not giving it to her anymore.
I came down in a rash and I was having fevers at night.
She just got hotter and hotter and sicker and sicker. And I knew it was one of the worst sickness because, as I said, Christy's been very private, especially even about someone seeing her with clothes off, and it's the first time in her life she's ever asked me to assist her to go to the toilet.
And the nurse come in to do some tests on her, and she sort of went out and opened the doors and yelled out code green.
No one was monitoring her properly and she ended up going into cardiac arrest.
She started convulsing, and I was only lucky there was a emergency doctor from downstairs. He come up and brought her back.
You know what, I don't know how it happened. Why it even happened, it should not have happened.
Well, what could I do? And I told them not to put her on it, and they just did it anyway. Like, what do? Do I jump up and down, which I did anyway? It's awful, it's devastating.
I've never ever seen Christy give up hope or anything. She's always done it. If anything, she's done it for her family. At this point in time, there was a second there where she let go. She couldn't do it.
My beautiful wife laying there in pain, convulsing. I freaked out.
She's still got a lot in her though, definitely.
I find it difficult to watch her cough. It knots my stomach. I wish I could take it away from her. Sometimes I tell God that he should have given it to me.
Do you think about if the baby's crying? I'm going to go through all that first before I get to it.
She is one of the strongest people I know.
I think about Isikali and what it'd be like for him, and if something happened to me, I know that he wouldn't carry on either. And I guess I feel like I know that I have to have a baby so he'll carry on, because I just don't think that I just don't think he'll carry on if I don't have a baby. So, and that worries me.
Because she's now 28, she's now having all these other problems, like the diabetes, because the pancreas is not working anymore, the food goes through and not producing the insulin, and you know, all these other things like the parathyroid. And
I think that's the reason why people don't understand that adult cystic fibrosis exists, is because these guys don't tell people, because they still do live normal lives and they still do work and try to do things that everybody else does, because they don't want to be known as the person with CF. So they just want to be the same as everybody else. In the future there will be more people with CF, so, or that your child will meet somebody who carries the gene, and then they'll have a child with CF. So, I mean, CF isn't a nice disease, but it's nice in the fact that it comes from both mum and dad, so not one parent's to blame, it's actually both parents have actually given this child the gene. I think that's different with a lot of other diseases, because it does come just from mum or just from dad, so it is a bit different.
there was a lot of kids who died at a young age, between 1 and 5, yes, when she was little, and that was really scary. But as I said before, it's a maintenance thing, so if you can keep the disease under control for at least the first 10 years of their life, they have got that extra time.
She's one of my oldest sisters. She's been there a lot for me. She's more of a mother than a sister, but she's like the mother that frets over everything. Over a step, she'll let you know that it's there first before you walk over it. She's just that mother that's got band-aids in her wallet. I hate it when people ask if she's been smoking, like my friends and stuff. And I used to just not answer them and tell them to mind their own business, because at the end of the day they'll never understand, because it took so long for me to understand I'm her sister. So she's so fragile, it looks like she's about to snap when she coughs, because her whole body shudders. There's something different about her. Otherwise, no one would ever know. She does her hair, she does her nails, she does her makeup. She just looks like a normal woman. Yeah.
Christy has always been conscious of her disease, but more so with her nieces and nephews. She has never wanted them to see her as weak and sick.
I know that it worries them, because I noticed, like recently, Dennis and Isaiah in particular, now that they're older, they've never really commented on my health, ever, really. But lately, like the other day, I was coughing in my room. I was asleep and I woke up and I started coughing, and Den was out here with the kids. And he come rushing in the room and he sat beside me. He's like, "You all right, Auntie Chris?" I was like, "Yeah, I'm all right, mate." He goes, "You're just coughing so loud and so much." You know, and he patted my chest and I said, "It's all right, darling." He's like, "Okay."
She's sick and she probably has a bug in her belly because she's coughing a lot.
When I am in hospital, I do just think about them, you know, and how this is impacting them. And who won?
Yes, all of us.
Today is the day for the parathyroid results.
So I've had a look back, and it looks like your calcium's been high since about 2004.
Mm.
Does that sound
Yeah.
right? That's as far as we've got back on here.
Oh, that's a lot longer.
Yeah, so they've only been sort of slightly elevated since that time, but
Oh.
there are high ones back to 2004 on the blood things. We've done these other tests that Dr. De Silva ordered last time, and they do look as though you've got what we call a parathyroid adenoma. So there's 4 parathyroid glands in the neck, and they control the calcium levels. One of those does look to be increased in size, and also taking up dye on the specific scan to see if it's got excess function.
Just one?
One of them. Yeah.
Told you.
So that does look to be most likely the cause of this high calcium.
Okay.
I know her relief carries a lot more insight. It's a small win against her fight to have a baby.
Yeah. Combined with your calcium levels and your age, and the fact that we've seen this, would suggest that surgery would most likely be the best treatment option. And especially if you are thinking further about pregnancy, we would recommend having surgery before you got pregnant.
We were looking at the end of the year
Okay.
because I was going to give my 6 months to recover from everything and get my lungs back up. Because I've tried everything with my lungs and I can't seem to get it past that, you know.
Too, with the diabetes, it's been uncontrolled, and I'm wondering if that's having something to do with the her not
Pregnancy.
conceiving. Yeah.
Because as I say, since I was a kid,
Has
I
she
had,
no fertile problem?
but even,
Although the cystic fibrosis
Yeah.
on its own will cause problems as well.
yeah,
Yeah.
they said that they wasn't. They said it wouldn't. That's why
They
we
said
were.
that she's very fertile.
Yeah, but that's why
And
we
that
were
shouldn't
abnormal.
cause a problem at all.
I mean, the calcium may cause a problem as well as the diabetes, so
Yeah.
all of them can.
Are all counteracting.
So, because calcium can cause quite a few problems in pregnancy, can increase the risk of early pregnancy loss.
Oh, really?
Yes, and it can increase the risk of preeclampsia later on in pregnancy as well.
Because the IVF doctor said that I had to measure everything. I was having what was called preconceptions, where I would fall pregnant and miscarry within 6 weeks.
Okay.
I've had about 6 or 7 of those.
Okay.
She's had several tries at IVF, and all those times I'm so confident that she can have a baby. But because of her body being out of whack, she goes on these IVF drugs and it sends the sugars up and down, and the doctors take a stab in the dark to think that she's got diabetes, give her insulin. Give her insulin and she can't fall pregnant.
Now I'm 28 years old and may not even have a chance of having a baby because now I've got all these other issues. Because they've just like left little things unnoticed that are serious issues. If it was 2007, fair enough. A couple of years, yeah, all right. Even that is like, come on. You know, 3 years is a long time for you. If I'm getting bloods every couple of months, don't you review the bloods? Isn't that why you get me pricked all the time? And then they see the calcium levels high, but from 2004, we're in 2011. And he's getting bloods done, like they're ordering bloods to be done. Regardless of whether or not he's not there, there's a team of CF specialists, there's a team of residents and registrars. Someone should have seen it.
The nurse is talking all this jargon about diabetes that has no understanding. My mum and stepdad look like a pair of robots. What is the nurse saying?
Does that make sense to you? Yeah. It actually isn't going to magically get better.
This is an example of countless meetings with specialists in the past that answer every question bar the one that matters. Can this be fixed? She hears nothing. All she wants to do is have a baby.
I guess for me, it's just that I do want some closure, and this is not closure when it comes to the IVF, and that's what we're striving towards.